So, this is my steed, and this is the country I'm traveling in on my very steed, and these are the mountains that I am in. Ice-capped, snow-capped mountains. Absolutely beautiful. And these are some of the roads that I've traveled on. But now it's onwards to Hunza. So it's time to park up. I could have gone further. The aim was to get to Hunza, but I stopped off at Gilgit to see the Buddha statue. And that took a long time because I had to ride through Gilgit and through the hustle bustle of little villages before I got there. And this is the place I'm staying. It's a roadside motel. And when I took a picture of Buddha, there was a young chap who said this is his uncle's place and I should stay here. So often we look for a reason to stop in one particular place, and this gentleman gave me the reason, this young buckaroo. So what they've done is they made a garden. I think they're trying to emulate a Chinese garden with gazebos to house people where they can sit down, rest and eat. And he's done a good job. He's done a very good job. I'll just show you the rest of the garden. I think he's making like a stage there, maybe. There's somebody praying. I won't disturb him. He's doing a deed that I should be doing, really. Time to eat. That's my table. People like in Pakistan to show the food. Right now I can't show you anything other than a jug of water, some spices and some tissue, but I think here comes my food. Zabardast. ये तो बेटे हाफ प्लेट तो नहीं नजर आती, ये तो बड़ा कुछ बना दिया आपने, पर चलो कोशिश करते हैं। हाफ है, चलो ठीक है। वो फिर ये अच्छी बात है। So this is my food, half plate of kabli pulao, some noodles and some spices. Let's see what I can do. This is the room. It's quite nice. I mean, you kind of expect this kind of furniture and this kind of look. And I don't know why I'm showing you a bathroom, but the guy who's trying to show me this bathroom said, you've got to look at the bathroom. It's a really long bathroom. Yes, it is. But it's still a bathroom. So, for the first time, I'm sleeping in something that looks fairly decent. So, and there's a little... So if I get upset with myself, I can send myself to that corner there. You see? It's all sorted. Anyway, signing off. Time to recoup, recharge, and get all my gadgets all charged up too. So, we've arrived in the region of Hunza. And I saw this village sitting at the foot of a snow-capped mountain. And I thought it was a great shot to record. What do you think? There's always something nice about Pakistani truck. Its colours, vibrancy, but also that bridge crossing that river. When riding long distances, if I see anything, I mean anything that's attractive, I stop just to take a picture. But this was more than just attractive. This is cherry blossom and it's a full orchard. You can't really see something of this nature on foot. So what I'm going to do is fly the drone and see if I can capture it from an elevated position. Hello, steed. Thank you for bearing with me and carrying my carcass through this journey. You're a good steed.
I think it's time to hit the road. The bike does beckon. So here I am. Now, what I'm doing now is trying to record some of this with a selfie stick whilst riding my bike, slowly stopping where I can. But I would never advise anyone to do this because this is absolutely dangerous and stupid. But that is my middle name. No, on a serious note, I'm going very gently and there is no traffic. Now I'll introduce you to my three aunties. Hello, aunties. Well, these are old dears that I met on the way, and they just wanted to talk to me and wanted to ask where I'd come from. And so I did. I obliged.
So this is Eagle's Nest. It's actually one of the first hotels, if not the first hotel, overlooking Hunza Valley. And maybe a long time ago there was an eagle's nest and they took the idea from the eagle to have an elevated view. Mountains galore. Everywhere you look, mountains, mountains, mountains. You can obviously hear me breathing heavily. It's a steep climb. What we do to get the best vantage point is shocking.
It's extremely windy here, but I wanted to show you all the peaks from this elevated view. There are many, and they all have a name, but unfortunately I'm not well versed enough to name each and every one, but I think the one ahead is called Lady's Finger. Maybe. But what a view. There are two forts in Hunza, Altit Fort and Baltit Fort, and we're now about to head towards Altit Fort.
भाईजान वाह जी वाह, वो तो इससे भी प्यारा है ताब आपने दिया, देखा ना? Gentleman grooming his handiwork. He's making these hats which are synonymous in this region. So finest souvenirs from Hunza Altit branch. Colors are so wonderful. So we're heading to this place. I'm not sure if you can see it, Altit Fort. For foreigners it's not so expensive, it's 600 rupees. For local people, I'm not sure, but it's probably worth paying the amount. You've come so far that it's important that you see what you can see whilst you're here. So these are gardens, cherry trees, I imagine, blossoming a little early, but not in full bloom. So I'm with Javid, a wonderful guide of this particular fort. And tell us something about this fort.
Because of Corona, we have to care.
Of course, I understand.
For our honorable guests who are coming from far areas, for example, far eastern countries.
Yes.
And especially you can be good ambassador for Pakistan.
Of course, of course.
This is Altit Fort 1100 years old.
It's how many years old?
11.
1100 years old.
By the oral history of local inhabitants and historians, so they mention 900 years.
Right, but I assume that that's the foundations. The original foundations must have been replaced, and the building must have been replaced.
Not replaced.
Oh, you're saying some of these stones are 900
These
years?
are all 1100 years.
Okay.
But for the renovation, consultant came from UK.
Right.
Mr. Richard Hughes.
Right.
So he asked inhabitants, how old is this for? Local replied 9. Then he took some samples of wood from the lower portion and watchtower.
Right.
Lower wood is by the radiocarbon dating 1100 years old. Watchtower is 1250 years old.
Right, okay, very good.
Built by Tibetan architects who came from Little Tibet.
Right, and it looks Tibetan as well.
Yeah, you were right.
Look, Tavi here.
Yes.
It does, yes.
Actually, we are on the 4th dangerous zone of the world.
Okay.
Yeah, 4th line of 2 tectonic plates.
Of course.
Tibet, Gilgit-Baltistan, Sikardo and Ganche,
Yeah.
these areas. So 2 tectonic plates, Eurasian Indian, and 3 mountain ranges, Karakoram, Hindu Kush, Himalayan ranges.
Right, absolutely.
And between Hindu Kush and Karakoram, 4th range is Pamir, roof of the world.
Roof of the world.
Yes, please. So, because of these ranges and two tectonic plates, so this is declared fourth danger zone.
Right.
First is Japan, second is Indonesia, third is San Francisco and California, fourth is here.
Wow, that's
Every year we enjoy minimum 4 earthquakes, small and big.
okay.
The biggest earthquake of this millennium in 2015, that was 8.1 Richter.
And is
scale.
that the highest you've ever had recorded?
Yeah.
8.1 is.
Yeah.
it's-
Previous millennium earthquake was in 1935. It
Right.
was above 8.5 Richter.
okay, so
When the Koita has collapsed.
okay. ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही. This is the internal workings of the fort. Javeed, what is this room for?
Sir, this was the reception and guard room.
A reception
Yeah.
guard room.
At
Okay.
daytime, a receptionist was stay here.
Right.
Welcome the ministers, leaders of the tribes.
Right.
Daily, they will come to the parliament for political discussion.
Right.
Weekly, for at night commando was stay here.
Okay.
So to save from the immigration, internal and external.
Wonderful. This construction actually houses revolters. I was told that a prince who had revolted against the king was still buried within this structure. Interesting and scary, but actually more sad than anything else. So this was this grand hall would house dignitaries, political people. People would sit and discuss things that are going on in the area. And if I show you the hall from the entrance, you can see it has a very old nostalgic splendor. There's a roof light, a skylight, which brings in this wonderful glow into the room. And then you've got small windows on the walls. And this was, I guess, a prestige room, for want of a better description. So the window to my side on the ground and the skylight also had an added benefit and purpose. Food would be cooked here. A wind flow would come through the bottom and push the smoke straight up through the chimney. Without having a chimney, it still sort of forced the smoke to go up through the skylight, and therefore preventing smoke inhalation or smoke buildup in this room where dignitaries would be sat.
Luxury hills.
So this is it's called Diwane Khas, so it's their living quarters. So that would be the fire pit, that's where they would eat, that's sleeping quarters, and obviously others that would stay. There are pictures of this fort from previous time periods, but they're mostly the same. So the fort has been kept intact. A very small doorway to this view, this epic view. Now this had several purposes. One was to enjoy the view, which we're doing right now, but also it was a point where one could see as far as they could to see if any aggressors were approaching. But all I can tell you is, what a view. And the water, the river, is sapphire blue, but a sapphire which I've never seen before. It's a beautiful blue. If you can spot the road ahead, which looks a bit like a snake, that's the Karakoram Highway. That's the road I rode up, and that is what effectively used to be called the Silk Route. Let's continue. I would love to say that I've brought you here for the view, but alas, that's not the case. I've been told that invaders, when conquered or when captured, would be thrown off this cliff. It's a 300-meter drop to the bottom, and that's how they dealt with invaders. They would bring them here, and then over they would go. So this is the watchtower. This is the pinnacle, the headpiece of the fort. There's a statue, wooden statue of a ram, I think, possibly an ibex. But yes, this is where they would have people watching out for possible invaders or just looking over their lands. This rock here and that tall obelisk type rock was a test for soldiers' strength, resilience and their mental disposition. For a soldier to become a higher ranked officer in the King's Guard, shall we say, he would have to jump from this stone to that stone and then back again. Once he could do that, he's proven his courage. And I'm not sure if that's a great way to prove your courage, but it does prove that somebody will follow orders if they're told to do it.
When you do come here, please do check out this little coffee shop that's been created to service the needs of patrons. Run by women, like most businesses here. It's quite a nice little tasteful coffee shop where you can actually have a meal too if you stay until evening.
There's nothing to see here but cherry blossom, but I'm not in Osaka or any part of Japan. This is Pakistan, Karimabad in the valley of Hunza. So cherries were brought here by, I believe, the British, though I know in a place called Suat Kalam, cherries were brought in by the Swiss. So I'll ask the question, who brought cherries into Hunza, but I imagine it would have been the British.
So folks, there is another part to Hunza because I have to show you Altit Fort, but for now I just thought I'd take a ride out, see the area and say goodbye to you folks, because for today I think I'm going to call it a day. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for your patience because I know this is quite long, and most importantly, stay happy folks, keep smiling. God bless you all.